Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a look at a bit of a meme team for the Sunshine Cup that really should not be working that well, but that actually works out very well. You've probably seen flying double fighter before, but have you seen fighting double fighter before? I don't think so. This team obviously has some weaknesses like Tropius, Gliscor, Donphan to name a few, but with a bit of teamwork you can get around them with this team. The two normal types have pretty decent matchups against them, and against the Pokemon that you see a lot more, the more common Pokemon, this team does very well. Going into the first game, we lead into a Pidgeot. I'm also leading Vigoroth in the first game. I changed that around to Double for later games because if you lead Vigoroth into a Ghost type, you're going to have to save swap the Double, and that kind of ruins the surprise factor. And Double just has better coverage against the meta with Payback. So I think it's a safer lead. We lead into Pidgeot. I always shield the first move because I'm yet to see a Pidgeot lead go for the Feather Dance. So yeah, we shield the Brave Bird. It really depends on what you see the most around your elo, what you should go for there. We go for a Body Slam against the Noctowl that comes in afterwards. They're running Double Flyer. Then swap in Double to try and absorb some energy from this Noctowl. This is mainly how I use the Double. It's the most bulky Pokemon. It can tank energy the best. And then I mainly save the shields for Vigoroth and Blaziken. We let them get to another Sky Attack because a Body Slam wouldn't have been enough from this range. It only does about 26%. And I'm also not expecting the Noctowl to shield. Payback does about 40%. So I go for this, hoping to take them out. And we do take them out, which is very nice. And they're actually running triple flying into triple fighting. I mean, it should be pretty obvious which team should win, triple flying versus triple fighting. But is it really that obvious? They get two Incinerates. We get to the Body Slam on Vigoroth. Can't really bring in the Blaziken against Talonflame. Blaziken does not like this matchup, but Blaziken also does not like not having any shields. So we kind of have to save the shield here. They go straight for the Brave Bird. Now they have to swap out. The Pidgeot is 4 away, so they just about don't get to a move on Blaziken. We counter it down. They bring back in the Talonflame. There was a 1 turn lag, which I didn't notice in the game. Usually you want to throw 2 or 7 2-turn moves when you're up against a 5-turn move, which is why I went for 7 counters. But it ended up being a CMP, meaning if they went for another Incinerate, they would have gotten an entire one through. But yeah, at this point they're 2 away, so we can get to the Brave Bird. And of course, go for the Brave Bird because it's just a lot more fun to land Brave Bird than it is to land Blaze Kicks. Next game we lead into a Noctowl. I am still just seeing Noctowl leads everywhere. Which is also why I kind of like Vigoroth in the lead more than Double in a way. Because Vigoroth has a significantly better matchup against Noctowl than Double has. So go for the Body Slam. It just doesn't do a lot of damage. Go for the other Body Slam as soon as possible because now they're 1 away. So if they want to throw in good timing, they're going to throw their Sky Attack immediately. They should just about not take out the Double, but now I can swap in Vigoroth against the Noctowl that has no energy, which is a lot more comfortable. I don't like going for the move here. It would have been a CMP, but if I go for the CMP, they might just catch it on something, which is a bit risky, so I choose not to go for it. The Noctowl does have a move, however. They bring in Double, and they throw 4 double kicks, so they should be 2 away from the next Body Slam, so we go up for the CMP here, which Vigoroth is of course gonna win. Get a shield, and I'm thinking we can either farm it down with Blaziken or farm it down with Vigoroth, spend the shield here. Blaziken doesn't perform very well when there are a lot of shields in play. I found it likes it more when it can kind of nuke things, especially like up against the Flyer, because it just gets wing attack down really when there are 2 shields up still. They bring in a Piloswine, go for the Body Slam, bring in the Blaziken, but the Noctowl still has a move. The Piloswine gets to an Avalanche, but we cannot shield this because the Noctowl has a Sky Attack. So we let this go. This does massive damage despite being not very effective. Bring in Noctowl and we counter it down. That is a good game. Next game, lead into a Vigoroth. It's kind of annoying this. Like if you run a bit of attack on your Double, which I would recommend, you can... Like, it's so close to winning the 0 shield. So if you run like a little bit more attack, it's very close in the 0 shield. but with my IVs, there's just no way that I'm winning the 0 shields against Vigoroth. I also have to go for the Body Slam immediately on bad timing, because otherwise the Vigoroth will outpace. It's at the second Body Slam now, go for the Body Slam, and then I do make a bit of a misplay, I think. I catch the Body Slam on Vigoroth. I should have probably just let my double go. But now we have a catch for later. We caught a move, so we could save a catch for later. Yeah, that's probably not the right play. Go for the Body Slam into the Gliscor that comes in. This is kind of the nightmare Pokemon to see, really. I haven't seen a lot of them, which is why I'm okay with playing this. They go for a move after 8. It takes 9 for the Earthquake, so they shouldn't have it. Then I try to go for the CMP. Takes 5 for the first Night Slash, 4 for the second. But they're aware that we were at the moves at the same time. And Vigoroth usually wins CMP here. It is a little IV dependent. They go over a move right before we get to ours. But once again, I shield this, thinking that I don't want them to still have a shield when I bring back in my Blaziken. Hoping that I can grab the shield right now. Very nice. Let Vigoroth go down, so my switch timer is still up. So I might be able to make a catch later on. They go for a move. They do have the Earthquake. I'm thinking they're probably baiting, but they can't get to a Night Slash and an Earthquake. So I shield it, thinking it was their only chance to get off an Earthquake. They bring in Noctowl, have to go for the Brave Bird to take this out. We have no shields left. Now we have to swap out in order to clear the debuff, but they might be able to farm us down. But they do go for a Night Slash. If they had farmed us down here, I'm not sure they could have. I think they could have. They would have just come out with an Earthquake. Instead, they only come out with a Night Slash. It's not very effective. It's non-stab. This is going to come down to fast moves. Not very effective counters versus super effective wing attacks. It's a simultaneous KO. Very good game. Next game, lead into another Noctowl. They swap in Vigoroth. And I swap in Blaziken. This is why I like Shadow Blaziken in the back, because it's just such a good counter swap to all the Vigoroth save swaps. So I think it's just always good. You just shield once, farm it all the way down, come out with a lot of energy. 2 Blaze Kicks do more damage than 1 Brave Bird, so if I can get to 2, I want to go for that. Farm up, realize, yes, we can get to 2 Blaze Kicks. Go for the first one. Also, by going for 2 Blaze Kicks, if they shield the first one, we're still gonna get off some damage, which they do shield the first one. Whereas if we were just going for the Brave Bird, yeah, we wouldn't have gotten off any charge move damage. Vigoroth does have a better matchup against Noctowl than Donphan has, but I like to absorb energy onto Donphan, and because they had so much energy, I bring in the Donphan here. And once again, Body Slam only does about 26%. I'm not expecting the shield, so I go straight payback. Takes out the Noctowl, bring in the Vigoroth into a double kick Girafarig. This is not what we want to see. They go for the Psychic Fangs immediately, takes 3 each time. Don't want to shield the first one, of course. Over farm. Get off the Body Slam. And at this point, I'm thinking, I'm not sure that Vigoroth can take this out if a Body Slam plus the counter damage is enough if I shield this. But I am quite sure that Donphan can lift 5 double kicks and get to this payback. The Girafarig is dry, so it's not going to get to 2 Psychic Fangs. And we do get to the payback. And the opponent realizes they're not going to win it, so they concede the match. GG's. Next game, lead into a Shadow Moltres. But I've actually been looking into this quite a lot. The Shadow Moltres, and it doesn't actually do that well against Vigoroth or Donphan. The way you want to play it is you want to get shield advantage or energy advantage on it. So I'm expecting the catch, like to save some energy on the Moltres and then catch a move on the Stunfisk. So I didn't throw my move immediately, but I don't really have like a super good answer to Stunfisk, so we kind of had to throw some energy anyways. Maybe we could have just swapped in Vigoroth immediately. I don't want to spend any shields here, because obviously there's a Shadow Moltres in the back that's going to hit a lot harder. Once again, a Body Slam from Vigoroth only does about 26% to a Stunfisk. They're 4 away here. I don't think it's enough at this point, and I'm really not expecting the shield from them, so I go straight for the Bulldoze to secure the knockout, but they actually do shield. At this point, it takes 5 for every discharge, 5, then 4 for every mud bomb, 5, 4, 5, 4. So it should be 5 for the next mud bomb, so I can overfarm a lot. And then they catch the move. I go for the CMP. They catch the move on Swampert, which is not really a play I have been seeing a lot of people make, catching moves on Swampert. because it's so frail. You usually don't catch moves on it. But we can bring in Blaziken, farm the Swampert all the way down after landing that Body Slam, come out with a lot of energy. If they bring in Stunfisk, they do have a move, so we have to go for a move ourselves immediately to CMP Tire, which Blaziken is always gonna win. Go for the Blaze Kick, and they do shield to get off this move. But they're still switch locked, so I want to bring in my double as quickly as possible to leave them switch locked. And they should be 4 away from the next mud bomb, so we can overfarm a little bit, get to 2 body slams, go for the first one against the Stunfisk. This takes out the Stunfisk. Go for the second one against the Moltres. The Moltres should still be 3 away from the next move. Does a lot of damage, swap into Vigoroth, go for the body slam, and this will take out the Moltres. And that is a good game. Very, very cool team by my opponent. That was not only a good game. This was my first set with this team. Obviously, I'm not only going to show one set, but just wanted to show. Went 4-0-1 with 1 draw. And new elo peak. Very cool. I do, full transparency, I do lose a little bit of this elo afterwards. This team is... I don't think it's the best team. I think Vigoroth and Blaziken are very, very good. Especially Blaziken in the back. Shadow Blaziken, that is. Vigoroth is obviously just the best Pokemon in this meta. But Double in the lead, yeah, it's quite like... It has very good coverage and it does okay against a lot of things. But it just doesn't win a lot of leads. So I think, yeah, the 2 others are probably the best 2. As we see this Shadow Swampert go for a muddy water against my Double. Get off the body slam, does a little bit less because it got the attack drop. And then the Swampert goes up to another move. I'm thinking because they're so low, they're not going to go for the muddy water again. So shield the Hydro Cannon. Then they bring in a Shadow Ninetales with Ember. It takes 6 for every Weather Ball when it has Ember. 10 for the Overheat. So they should be at the Weather Ball now. But Vigoroth usually wins CMP here. It is IV dependent. They have a bit of attack on this Ninetales. I went for the body slam immediately because I was expecting to win the CMP. But because we lose it, I undercharge this body slam so we can get a little bit more energy. We should be able to get to a move on whatever they bring in now. Bring in Noctowl. And this is quite bad. Because the Noctowl is going to be able to get energy. I have to let Vigoroth go down to leave my switch timer up because the Noctowl will get to 2 sky attacks. And Blaziken cannot take a sky attack. So I have to try and make a catch and double. I fail the catch. And that is a good game. Next game, lead into yet another Noctowl. This is like an okay matchup, but once again, Vigoroth just does better against Noctowl. Yeah, Vigoroth is just more powerful. It just wins more matchups, but Double is safer. So I prefer Vigoroth, I think. Go for a body slam, go for the second one. Same procedure as earlier, really. Set it up so that if they want to throw in good timing, they're going to have to throw the sky attack immediately, which is what they do. And now they should be 5 away from the next sky attack. Now we have the sack. A potential sack in the Double, bring in the Vigoroth. Once again, don't want to go for the CMP in case they catch on like a ghost type or something. But they do actually decide to go for the sky attack and do a bit of damage onto Vigoroth. Go up to the back-to-back body slam, but the Swampert did 5 mud shots, so this will be a CMP if I go for it. So I don't want to go for it. They let it go. Shield this Hydro Cannon, or I assume it's a Hydro Cannon and not another Muddy Water. It's 4 for the next one, so we can do 3 more counters. Then go for the next body slam. And usually with Noctowl lead, I'm not sure why they didn't throw immediately. They leave themselves with less HP, which is actually pretty good play. Usually with Noctowl leads, if you haven't seen the Vigoroth in the lead or on the swap, it's probably a Vigoroth in the back. So I'm hoping it's the Vigoroth, but it's actually a Stunfisk. Noctowl double ground. But the Stunfisk is going to outpace to 2 moves, and a Rock Slide does 55%. So I have to make a catch here. So I try to make the catch. They waited a turn. Very nice play by my opponent. I undercharged this, thinking I'm 1 counter away from the back-to-back Blaze Kicks. So I want to leave the Noctowl with 1 counter away, but it died. So now the Stunfisk is at back-to-back Rock Slide. If it doesn't get KO'd by this counter, it gets the other one off, but it does get KO'd by the counter. Very, very clutch Blaziken, and also the double kicks we got in from double. Next game, lead into another Shadow Swampert. Maybe people have been watching my video from like the last video where I ran triple ground, where I was basically just completely hard counted by any Swampert lead. Yeah, luckily we're not running triple Shadow Ground this time. Go for the Body Slam. Go for the second one immediately against Swampert, thinking that some people don't want to risk. Like if they go for the CMP and I go for the double kick, I get 3 turns worth of energy through. Even though they had the Hydro Cannon, it's quite risky for them to go for it. Bring in the Vigoroth afterwards, they go for the Hydro Cannon, grab the shield, and then they bring in the Victini. Most Victinis throw after 10, because then they're at back-to-back V-Create, so I go for the Body Slam after 10, hoping to lose the first CMP, so that I can get off the Body Slam whilst they're debuffed, but also before they get off the second one. But my opponent makes an incredible play here. A V-Create does 55% damage, there or thereabout, so they go for the Overheat, which takes out Vigoroth. Very nice play. I bring in double, hoping they would throw soon, but they overfarm perfectly, and they still just come out of this with a lot of energy. They are debuffed, both defensively and attackingly, So this is a resisted V-Create debuffed. I think we can tank it, but it just doesn't matter because there is a Moltres in the back. That was just perfect played by my opponent with that Victini. Just a showcase of exactly how to play it, really. Just completely outplayed me. Next game, would you know it, there is another Owl. Where have you seen this before? This is why I've been running Stunfisk and Piloswine on the lead a lot. They try to catch a move on Vigoroth. We swap in Blaziken. Was a bit slow on the swap, but maybe we can still counter it down, only using 1 shield. Hope so. They're 5 away. Can we counter it down? Yes, we can. That's very nice. Now Blaziken comes out with a lot of energy, but they bring in a Confusion Girafarig, and I kind of panic a little bit seeing that damage. I should have gone for the Brave Bird here, but they do still shield it. It still would have done so much damage, that Blaze Kick. Also should have gone for the payback here, either grabbing the shield or taking out the Girafarig. I went for the Body Slam instead. And I know the Noctowl is on 2, and I know that Vigoroth can win the 1 shields against Noctowl, even 2 fast moves down. If it's 3 fast moves down, it loses the 1s and 2 shields to Noctowl, I think. At least the 1 shield. But because it's only 2 down, we should be able to take out the Noctowl, which is why I let the double go. But the thing is, does Vigoroth win this with enough health left in order to also deal with the Girafarig afterwards? Go for the first Body Slam. Grab the shield. Now go up to back Body Slam. We should be able to get both of these off, and the second one should be on CMP. But the Vigoroth is very low, and the Girafarig still has a bit of energy, or a bit of health. It has no energy. Go for the Body Slam on CMP. And now it's going to be a fast move off. Can we fast move them down before they fast move us down? Yes, we can. That was a very, very close game. Next game, lead into a bit of a core breaker, Shadow Donphan. But double does win the 0 shields here, so that's what I'm going to go for. Take the first move. Takes, obviously they're also running counter, so it takes 5 for the Body Slam. We just about live it. Can't get to these back-to-back Body Slams. I cannot wait a turn here because then counter might register onto double. So I have to go for this immediately. And they catch it onto Noctowl. They save a bit of energy. 4 counters worth of energy on Donphan. So they're 1 away from the next move. We bring in Vigoroth onto this Noctowl. And we let the first one go. And at this point, we can just go up to double Body Slam, take out the Noctowl. Or we can take another Sky Attack, shield it, undercharge this Body Slam. We have to throw it immediately, otherwise we go over 100 energy. And then come out with a lot of energy to threaten the Donphan in the back. I think this is a lot of a better play. Also, perfect undercharge. It was 5 away from the next move. They're 1 away from the move on Donphan, so when I throw immediately if it comes in, it does come in. Does get that 1 counter through. So now they're at the move. Donphan wins CMP. So we go for the catch. because we had a lot of energy in Vigoroth. It made a lot of sense for them to go for the CMP there. Catch the Body Slam on Double. Now, if it's just not Gliscor in the back, we should be able to win this game. But it's Gliscor in the back. I go for the Brave Bird to give the Gliscor less farm, but this just doesn't matter because this Body Slam just doesn't KO. Maybe I should have gone for the Blaze Kick to actually get more counter damage from Blaziken onto the Gliscor, so this Body Slam would maybe have been enough to KO. I don't think it would have made a difference. That Gliscor was just brutal. And now we're seeing another one. But this is actually not too bad. Because, yeah, Vigoroth and Double don't have that bad matchups against Gliscor. These are bait dependent. People are more likely to go for the nuke against more bulky Pokemon like Double, because I am more incentivized to not shield my bulky Pokemon, or at least that's how I feel. Go for the payback against Gliscor, then swap in Vigoroth. Maybe I should have let my Vigoroth or my Double go down, because now they can swap out and save their Gliscor for later, as I shield the Night Slash bait. Save their Gliscor for later, which is very bad for my Blaziken. They go for another Night Slash. This was only a Night Slash, because they were only at 4. And then they bring in Vigoroth, and they do 5 counters. So this next one should be on CMP. I generally don't win a lot of CMPs. I have been winning a surprising amount of them in this meta. But no, they do get it off before I get it off. But we live it. And then we undercharge this Body Slam to leave the Vigoroth with more health so we can get more energy in Blaziken. I do one counter there just to make sure that the Vigoroth doesn't get to a move here. But this Gliscor, the wing attacks just do so much damage. I make a huge mistake here. I should have just gone for the counter down. Instead, I go for a Blaze Kick, and this gives the opponent another wing attack through. So they get even more fast move damage onto my Blaziken. And then they bring in a Macaco. And yeah, that's just game over. It would have been game over regardless of what they had in the back. That Gliscor was pretty brutal. Next game. Last game. Only fitting, once again, that we finish off with a Noctowl, of course. I think this one is a little bit more attack weighted, based on how much damage the Sky Attack did. They try to catch on a Donphan, but we don't have a response to Donphan. So stay in, go for the Body Slam, and then go for the payback. Do they know? They do not. They let go of their Donphan, and if the Noctowl comes in, I don't want to let my Double get farmed down. They will still be switch locked for quite a while, so I feel like the best play is to bring in Vigoroth. If they had brought in something else, I would have probably brought in Blaziken. It would probably a Vigoroth. I'm thinking it's probably like some sort of ABB line. Usually, as I say, if you don't see the Vigoroth in the lead or as the safe swap, it's usually in the back because there's usually a Vigoroth on every team. Shield the Sky Attack, overfarm a lot. And then I think I go for a bit of a risky play. I go for the CMP tie, which allows my opponent to catch if they want to. But no, they don't want to catch. We get off the Body Slam, take out the Noctowl. Go for the Body Slam immediately into a Shadow Swampert, or is it a regular Swampert? That would be even worse. It is a Shadow Swampert. This looks bad, but Blaziken just does so much damage with these counters. We shield the first Hydro Cannon, they're 3 away from the next one, and then I go for a bit of a cheeky play because I know they're gonna shield this. Obviously, I'm not sending this Blaze Kick to get the shield. I want the 1 HP. This is only gonna matter in like 1 out of 100 games. But in that 1 out of 100, where that 1 HP that you get from the opponent shielding a move, you never know. Like, it might make a difference 1 out of 100 times or something like that. So I think that's a pretty good play. That was the last battle for today. And overall, I think this team is alright. It's not the best team in the world. 3 fighters might be a bit overkill. 2 is definitely good in this meta. But Double is just, it has so many matchups where it's a good save swap and it does damage, but it just doesn't win enough matchups in my opinion. So I would probably go with Vigoroth and Blaziken if I were to use 2 of these and then something else. Other than that, Fun fact of the day, this is for the Element Cup. Let me know if you want to watch Element Cup content or Master League content the most in the comments. Shadow Ball picks up so many matchups with 3 quick attacks advantage where the regular one does not. It's a lot more difficult for the regular one to flip matchups with an energy advantage, whereas the Shadow Ball can pick up Ducklet, Seal, Chinchou, and like a lot of other things, Slugma as well, I think, a lot easier with less energy advantage. Other than that, if you like what you see or you feel like you learned something, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.